In this video, I explore how indigenous arts in early colonial New Spain blend their sacred traditions with European Christian imagery. I focus on two important featherwork objects, the Massive St. Gregory, 1539, and the Bishop's Mitre, c. 1550. Together, these works reveal how art became a powerful space of cultural exchange during the early colonial era. In pre-Hispanic Mesoamerica, featherwork was one of the highest forms of luxury art. Aztec and other indigenous artisans, known as Amanteca, were trained from young age in workshops that specialized in cutting, sorting, and layering feathers to create luminous images. Feathers from birds like quetzal, hummingbirds, and parrots were considered sacred. They symbolized the divine, the sky, and the spiritual transformation. When the Spanish arrived, they were immediately struck by the shimmering beauty and technical skills behind indigenous feather mosaics. Instead of trying to suppress this tradition, they redirected it to support Christian teachings. Missionaries realized that using familiar indigenous materials could make Christian imagery more appealing and convincing. This ultimately led to the creation of the art school at San José de los Naturales by Francis Fares. There, indigenous arts preserved their long-standing featherworking techniques, but applied them to new religious subjects. The Mass of St. Gregory is one of the most famous examples of colonial featherwork, created in 1539 by indigenous artists. It depicts a Catholic miracle in which Christ appears during Mass at the Man of Sorrow. This scene was popular in Europe for teaching the Catholic belief that the bread and wine become the body and blood of Christ. The mosaic itself is made of thousands of carefully layered feathers arranged to create radiant depth and glowing light. The natural iridescence of the feathers reinforce the miraculous and spiritual theme of the image. Indigenous artists use their traditional techniques, such as overlapping tiny feathers, to create texture and substyle shading. Even though the subject matter is Catholic, the artist's method is completely indigenous. This work of art was commissioned as a diplomatic gift for the Pope Paul III. It represents not only artistic talent, but also political purpose, serving as evidence of missionary success and the adoption of Christian imagery by indigenous communities. However, despite its colonial context, the piece still preserves indigenous aesthetics through its material, visual rhythm, and the technical mystery developed over generations of featherworkers. The bishop's mitre was created around 1550 at the indigenous art school of San José de los Naturales. The ceremonial headpiece was worn by a high-ranked member of the colonial church, and it demonstrates how deeply indigenous artistry became woven into the visual identity of the colonial world. The feather mosaics of the mitre depicts Christian symbols, saints or sacred motifs. The feathers created a surface that glows under the light, symbolizing divine illumination. Their natural shine also strengthens the religious meaning of the images, making the Christian symbols appear powerful and holy. This blending of feathers with sacred symbols reflects tradition associations of feathers with sacredness. The artisans behind this work were lightly trained Amenteca, who brought their long-standing featherworking skills into producing Christian objects. At San José de los Naturales, indigenous artists continued to use their traditional techniques, but applied them to new Christian themes. The result is a hybrid creation, unique artworks that were neither fully European nor fully indigenous, but something distinctly tied to early colonial Mexico. In conclusion, the Mass of St. Gregory and the Bishop's Mitre serve as a compelling example of how art facilitated the fusion of two distinct worlds in early colonial New Spain. By seamlessly integrating indigenous featherworking traditions with Christian imagery, these artworks emerge as potent symbols of cultural negotiation and adaptation. They serve as a powerful reminder that colonial art was not solely the creation of European hands, but was also profoundly influenced by indigenous knowledge, artistic genius, and cultural heritage.